Hello and welcome to my channel Interior Reflection. For those of you who have already subscribed, welcome back. And for those of you who are new, my name is Gia Lulich and my goal for this channel is to bring you inspiring, relaxing and hopefully informative content. In today's episode, I'm so excited to be sharing with you guys what is probably my favorite flat tour so far. The flat tour is actually with an interior designer and it's of her beautiful home in Hampstead. And I've been hoping to do this collaboration for the last year and I'm so excited that I'm finally here. What is incredibly unique about Anjoli's home is that really each piece in the space tells a story about her experience or something about the way that she likes to pass time with her family. But before we go over to Anjoli's, I have some exciting news to share with you guys. And that is that today's video is actually my first sponsored video. And it is sponsored by a New York-based fine jewelry brand called Ana Luisa. There are so many things I want to say about this brand, but I'll start with my personal experience, and that is that I actually found a piece of jewelry on Ana Luisa's website, which I've been looking for probably about 2 years. And it is actually this necklace that I'm wearing, which has got mother of pearl. It's one that I saw in Paris at a vintage store, but it was a little bit too pricey and it was a few years ago, and I've been looking for one ever since, and I was so happy when I found it on their page. It's such a unique design and the pieces that they have on their website are incredibly simple, but also really unique and can pretty much be paired up with anything. Today I'm wearing a few other pieces from a few other brands, but as you can see, it's so easy to actually match it up with everything that I've already got on. I'm also wearing Ana Luisa Huggy earrings with the mother of pearl, and I absolutely love these. I have to say I was so happy when I received these pieces, because sometimes when you go online and you're scrolling through pictures, what you see is not often what you get. And in this case, what came in the post was actually so much more beautiful than I expected. I loved the packaging. I loved the quality of the jewelry. What is amazing about Ana Luisa is that they actually sell these pieces at a really affordable price. And on top of that, they are carbon neutral with both their packaging and also their jewelry. And so they're environmentally responsible while at the same time ensuring that their beautiful jewelry is accessible to most people. The other piece that I got from them, which I'm not wearing today, but I really want to tell you about, are these incredible blue earrings. They're the type of earrings that you could be wearing something super plain and they will give the whole outfit a lift. If you guys have seen my fashion videos or pretty much any other videos, you'll know that I love my shirts, and I actually really needed a pair of statement earrings to lift some of my outfits, and these are just so gorgeous and so unique, and whenever I put them on I feel like I've just elevated my outfit to look a lot more elegant and just a lot more luxurious. If you guys like the pieces and want to get some high quality jewelry, there is a link below in my description. Ana Luisa's actually having a sale, so when you buy one product you get the other product at 40% off. So this is a really good time if you guys want to find some incredible, unique pieces that can really be paired with everything. So let's now head over to Anjoli's and check out her incredible family home.
I love having an open layout like this and an open kitchen. It's so important. We're always all in the same room at the same time, but we can be doing different activities. And I think that's the most special part about this home, really, is being able to have all the different sort of stations and things people are doing, but all be in the same space at once. Having the big windows that we have in this space, I love being able to look out and look at the sort of green wall I have in the back in the garden, and it feels like it's just framed like a picture frame. And I think the garden is really just the center of the house, and it feels like another room of the house. I tend to be very sort of romantic in my style. I can't get away from the romance, and I can't get away from the fact that I am a little bit girly, but I think it's fun and nobody's taking themselves too seriously. And it's all about pattern and texture and detail. And I like the idea of, and when you're in a space, not one thing sticks out to you. You shouldn't actually notice any one thing. It should just be like little things in the corner of your eye that speak to you and that should make you feel something.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and your life here in London and what you do.
Yeah, so I came to live here about 7 years ago. We spent a year in Oxford before this, and I'm originally from Vancouver, BC. London is such a special city, and I'm very attached to Hampstead. We're so lucky to be able to live in this neighbourhood, and I can't imagine being anywhere else. It's just the character and the history, and I don't think I would have become an interior designer if I didn't live here. I think when you walk the streets and look into people's houses, there's so much inspiration around. There's so much. I mean, I could just get lost just wandering the streets. I could be in the worst mood, and I could walk out the door and walk around this neighborhood and just feel instantly uplifted and inspired, deeply, deeply inspired.
What is the role of colour in your home?
So I only painted my house, like the lower ground floor actually. It's a really deep grey. It's downpiped by Farrow and Ball, which I only did this a few years ago, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And everything was white before, and I felt very claustrophobic in a way. I felt like just this feeling of the walls sort of closing in around me. I'm so inspired by color. I'm so desperate for color. And what I found was when I painted it dark, every piece that I had in the house stood out more. The plants, every color pops. Mm-hmm. And when you give it that sort of backdrop, they pop much greater against a darker backdrop. Whereas if you have white walls and white everything, your colors, they get lost. They sort of, everything sort of blends into the background and things tend to look a lot more cluttered. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's just giving each piece a proper backdrop. I ended up with this gorgeous piece, and it's really a gift from a very dear friend of mine who owns a hotel out in Canada, and he sort of on a whim found the piece and didn't realize how large it was, so he was going to ship it out to himself, but it ended up being 3 times as much to ship it to Canada as it would be to keep in London. So when it first came home, my daughter, we told her it was a unicorn portal. She stood at the entrance of it and opened up these big mirror doors, and she said, "I'm ready, take me." And she kept trying, and she kept giving them these spells, but it didn't work. So she said, "Send it back to Uncle Jordan, it's broken. I hate it."
I love that there's also a little element of drama when you have contrasting colours, and it just gives it so much more life and character.
Yeah, that moodiness.
Yeah.
It's really working with the light that you have, because on this floor, we don't get a load of light. We have the conservatory, but actually there's not that many windows, and the ceilings aren't super high, so, and it's north facing. So I just went with what the light was telling me to do.
Do you have a favourite room other than this main area or, place in the home?
I think our master is subtle, and it's light and bright, and it feels like a retreat, and it's supposed to be calming. There's nothing more beautiful than just waking up in the morning and opening the windows and hearing the bird song and being able to see. We're just so lucky to have so much green around us. And obviously having the clawfoot bath, I think, is just my favorite place in the house. my daughter's room, we've got a really loud, intense wallpaper in there, and it's so much fun. We did that over lockdown. We were all feeling like very tired and just trapped. I mean, as everybody did. Needing a tropical getaway. It feels like a little escape being in there. I love it. I love just like lying in there and reading the books, and you feel like you're just kind of someplace else. It is not a big garden, it's just a tiny little guy, but it does exactly what we need it to do. We have incredible barbecues out there. Sometimes I like to just lay out a whole picnic blanket and tables and cushions on the floor, and we'll have a barbecue and have lunches out there. We get the chalk out and paint all over the walls. It's just such a nice thing to have, especially over lockdown. It was a blessing. In the summer, it's amazing to lie down on the outdoor sofa and just like drink wine and read books and hang out. When we first moved here, that was one of my biggest things. Was like, I really, really want a working fireplace, like an open fireplace. It's so important. One of our favorite things to do is just sit at the coffee table on the floor and have a fire and play chess. We might be like 75, but this is literally, it's just like the most wholesome thing. It's just a bottle of wine and a game of chess and having that open fireplace. The green sofa that I have, it's been with me for 20 years. I took it from Vancouver. It was like one of my first, most like grown-up pieces that I ever bought. And I spent like all my money on it. It was such a big deal for me at the time. I was like 20. I think I spent 3 months on that sofa when my daughter was born, just nursing her. You know, I'm so attached to it. It was torn up and tattered and loved and lived in, and I had it reupholstered a few years ago. I think when you have a really good piece of furniture like that, it should stay with you for as long as you can, because you can always give it new life and have them restuffed and refinished.
Tell me a bit about this wall with the exposed brick, and also like a bit about the kitchen. I love your like blackboard.
Oh yeah, that's my daughter's writing on there. She planned out her activities and meals for the day. The chalkboard, yeah, I mean, it's just one little wall we have next to our refrigerator, and it's super useful. We like to use it for if we're feeling like extra pretentious, to write the menu out on it, or just let the kids go crazy with chalk. Our dining area is everything. I love it. The dining table. We entertain a lot. We have a lot of dinner parties. We have kids over all the time. They're friends, and just like a nice space to gather with the whole family. It's great to have that. The ghost chairs, I mean, they just sort of float literally there. They're not trying to steal the show. And I think that's the thing about most of the things in my house. Maybe except for the mirror, thanks Jordan. Nothing really tries to like steal the show. Everybody sort of works together, makes each other look better. I think that's what it's all about, really. I think bringing nature into the home and elements of sort of like raw organic shapes, I think it's just really important to incorporate that, especially when you have sort of more of a contemporary interior. Just something to soften it, and you know, plants bring you joy. They just are. And joy and happiness and health. So, you know, I think just the color and the texture of that alone is all you really need. For me, everything in interiors is about lighting. There's no point in spending any money on your sofa or your chairs or whatever, your countertop. There's no point in any of it if you don't have the right lighting. I think it's the first thing I do when I work with a client and go into an interior, is change it all around. It has to be intentional, it has to work, and that's what makes an interior feel magic. I think the biggest thing I've learned is like working with the weather. And so London is grey, always grey, and kind of cold all the time. And so you see it in fashion, like our outfits reflect that. If you go on the underground, everybody's wearing black and grey. You just do, you just follow the weather. And so I think in interiors, I do that too. And you know, I wouldn't try to make this a tropical paradise. It wouldn't make sense here. it's gray, it's subdued, it's toned down, but then you bring the life into it with texture and patterns and plants. When it comes to patterns and textures and colors, I think I put them all together before I commit to anything. So I'll get the samples and I'll put them all together and see how they react together. They don't have to match, but they do need to talk and speak to each other, and I think that's what it's all about, really. And again, with the romance, like, of course I have to incorporate like a little bit of pink, a little bit of softness, you know. And I think especially with the dark walls, I think that's what it's all about. It's like just finding that balance. I never really stick to like a set of rules or a very strict idea when it's my home. Other people's houses, I'll do like a concept board and then everything goes back to that concept. So you don't go too far away from it. So there is flow. And I think it is really important to have consistency and flow throughout the home, because you don't want to go from one room to the other and feel like you're in a completely different place. So there should be that consistency. Every piece around your house doesn't have to cost £1 million. I mean, it's, you know, things can be done on a budget and they can be bought off the high street and just, you know, given a little tweak here and there to make it unique. And I think that's what it's all about. I have worked with a lot of clients who are on really tight budgets, and you have to be extra creative, and I like that. I think it's fun.
Thank you guys for sticking around and watching. I hope you enjoyed that flat tour. It was such a delight to film it, and it just gave me so much inspiration for my own place. I loved how Anjali goes into how she can't get away from the romantic theme, because I can completely relate. A lot of my stuff in my own apartment is pink. I just gravitate towards very feminine colors. As mentioned at the beginning, if you guys like the jewelry pieces I'm wearing and you want to give your wardrobe a spring upgrade, do click on the link below, because Anna Louisa are having buy one and get the second one at 40% off campaign. So definitely check them out. In my next video, I'm hoping to be touring the very eccentric home that I mentioned in my last video in South London. Unfortunately, some of the renovations were not finished in time, but hopefully next month. If you like this video, please do subscribe, give me a thumbs up. But until then, hope you guys take care, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Ciao for now.